We're going to be filling up these, basically no hot water. You just want to make sure that we're going to just have regular room temperature. When I say hot water, I mean anything that's hot that's going to burn you.
So tepid water.
This is okay. On hot, just so you know.
Yep. Huh?
That's on hot.
This is on hot? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
go to the left, right.
Cold. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So, basically, it can be cold, it can be warm water. From what I'm understanding, there's no heat going to be applied to these instruments, even in the warmer. From what I understand, they don't want you to go over 120, but we're going to try to figure out not putting any heat on the flexibles themselves. These, it doesn't really matter to me, but it's the flexibles that kind of concern me of putting them in there with heat. So please, with the flexibles, try not to do any heat. I'm going to fill up these sinks. You got your soap and you got your regular drinking water over here. The materials we're going to need is just these little wire brushes that we have here. Now, the reason why I come out and take 3 different brushes is because this green brush is going to go for all of the other channels that are going to be for the Cisco case here. So I'm going to show you guys this Cisco equipment here. Open this up. So, in here we have a 30-degree scope and we have all the other instruments that we're going to use. All of this can be hand washed, so know that it doesn't need to go into a machine. This is hand washed and all the instruments are hand washed. As you know, every time we're washing stuff, we always want to make sure we take things apart. As a team, we decided this morning, that we were going to take these off and clean it with a brush. It's just a regular brush that you guys have, like a toothbrush, just basically get into that, into those little grooves. You have these little handles that have these little nubs there. And the nubs right here, basically, you have like a little space, pop it in like that, and it has rotation. So you want to make sure that when you're cleaning this, you want to take this apart. You want to basically put all of this in the soap. So I'm going to do it just like that. Put it all in the soapy water, and I don't know how to put the soap in there, how much soap goes in there.
Okay, if you got 10 gallons, you need to have,
okay,
here,
so it's gonna go up to 10
pick
gallons.
this tube up right there.
This one right here?
The clear tube.
Clear one?
The clear tube. The other
This
clear
one.
tube, yeah. The one that's not clear. Okay, just lay it in there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you're going to do 5 gallons of water. Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So for 5 gallons, you're going to press A and hit start.
Gotcha. All right.
But the key is that you don't hit it until the sink is full.
Until it's full.
Okay, because you're going to get bubbles.
Gotcha.
All right?
Okay, so basically, like she said, make sure that it's going to be already sudsed. You put it in there. You can start cleaning this with a rag, or you can, I see that you guys have like these little green sponges, these little sponges.
Yeah, they're right there in the left, top left.
So instead of a rag, you guys got this, which this is really good. I love these for the flexible scopes. But what you do is just basically, we pre-clean them inside the OR. So it's not like we have a chance to kind of spray it, but we'll try to basically get as much bioburden as possible. And KY jelly, you just don't have anything to spray it with. But, so what you'll do is basically, you can put the whole thing in there, and then once you start washing, you just start washing one thing by one, okay? With this right here, what I would usually do is make sure that this is all soapy, make sure this is nice and clean. There's 3 ways to check these scopes and the semi-rigid. You put your finger like this, make sure that there's any dents, any cracks or anything like that, and just make sure you let us know. Second, the pirate is kind of just looking at you like an eyeglass scope and make sure that there's nothing that is cracked or smudged. If it is smudged, and you guys do see something that I don't catch, you let me know, hey Nando, this is really orange. There's this little thing, little cream that I use that I'll go with the toothbrush and I'll go and clean it up. You guys don't have to do that. You just let me know. So if there's any tint to it, usually that's what I'll do is clean it up with this. But this is a really good polish. But you make sure you get everything clean. You try to keep this inside the protector when you're done. And just make sure you go through all your instruments. I got my brush right here. So whichever brush you want to use, make sure I took all the little black things off. You go in there and just make sure everything's nice and clean. Then we're going to use what I was saying was the green brush. The green brush is what's going to be used for all the other instruments except the flexible and the semi-rigid. So You're going to use this because this is the thickest. And what I usually do is you can always load it from the end. The reason why I like loading it from the end is because whenever you push something through, I put it in the water. And you see I just kind of just go like this, and it goes right through it. Yeah. So the same thing goes with the channel. And I do the same thing with the channel. So now when that's happening like that, I'll put this back on after I do my nice little brushes. And my 20cc syringe. I'll do my flushes on my channel. I usually do the flushes before I take off the black handles, but just make sure the little model that I always use is brush, flush, brush. Brush, flush, brush. So if I flush it, I'll go in there, flush it, make sure everything's nice and flushed, and then I'll go in, I'll put the brush through it, make sure the channels are open, put it in the water with the soap. That's nice and clean. Then you move on to the next and you do all that. Now with these guys, when you put them back on, you don't need to take them off. And there's like a little box in here. You don't have to put it in the box. We all decided you can keep them on and they just gotta be sterilized with them on. But to clean them with the brush like I just showed you, take them off. Okay? Any questions on the instruments for the Cisco?
For the scope itself, is it okay for it to be submerged, or should we kind of
Yep, this is okay to be submerged. Everything can be submerged. The only time that Wolf tells us not to submerge a scope is when it has a hole in it. So for example, the flexible hole ends up having a hole in it, we'll basically not submerge it. So for example, let's say we're done with the case inside, and this is just a flexible scope. And we do a test inside the room, and we say, hey doctor, there's a hole in it, or it didn't pass or it passed. We get the signature of whoever, or just write down the name of whoever we told. Then we come on to SPD, and when we hand it to you, we'll probably come in with the card and say, hey, can I get a witness? And that's when we'll go over and make sure that all the equipment is accounted for and it's there. Make sure that everything is nice. Hey, we're just going to do a check, because remember guys, I'm going to make sure through the serial number every scope is checked for every case. So basically I'm just going to say, hey look, we're just witnessing that I'm giving this to you, not broken. The reason why we do this is because if it does get broken down the line, you can figure out what happened and how we can fix it. So just let me know if you see anything. So any questions on the semi-rigid and the cystoscope? So the semi-rigid is just the same way of cleaning. It's just two different cleaning brushes. Okay, so what we have here is we have a blue one and we have a yellow one. So the difference is the color, of course, but the thing is that we're going to have, this is the thinner one for the laser channel, and this is for the working channel. Okay, now these are going to be only for the flexibles and the semi-rigids. Everything else is going to have the green one. Okay, so any questions on the semi-rigid? This is one thing that I really want to let you guys know too, these green things. If these things get lost, please let me know. These are the little nubs that go on here for the light. Every one of my stuff is supposed to have one. If it's missing, that means something happened to it. If you guys are saying that it's missing, then I must have not seen it, but I'm pretty good at making sure it's on there every time.
I got a question. That has to be off to be sterile, right?
No. So
okay.
What you have to do is clean it. You can take it off. But once you clean it with a little brush, you put it, after it's all rinsed off, then you put it back on,
okay.
and then you sterilize it. You can do it
okay.
just like that.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go over the flexible scope in a second. But any questions on that, guys, before I move forward? Okay? So, we're going to have a nipple in each one of these. So you just know that it's going to be one of these nipples. So it's one nipple in the semi-rigids, two nipples in the cysto trays, and they're going to be in that little basket. And also you're going to have a stopcock in this basket. So just in case you guys figure, because that's the only thing that fits in there. Please take the stopcock off like this, the little black thing like I just showed you guys, and run a brush through this, please. I don't care if it's the blue one would be fine, the yellow one, whichever one, just any brush. I would put the yellow one in this one because it's a little thicker. But yeah, so basically that'll be like this. Remember, please don't leave these off because everybody decided that they want them on to be sterilized. Okay, so we got no questions on that. So I'm going to take this out. So basically, I washed this all off, right? I did my flush, brush, and flush. So I'm gonna bring it over here and just basically rinse it out. I usually would have a rag over here to kind of wipe everything off and make sure that all the suds are off. And I think I need more water in here. But make sure that's all rinsed off and that's nice and clean. So the next thing that I'm gonna go to, put this here. Is the flexible scope. Oh, right, the flexible scope. These are one of our pride and joy because these scopes are just so nice. On camera, inside, I mean, they're just a really good sight. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you, this is our gas cap. This gas cap always stays on for sterilization, never to clean. Okay, never to clean. So if you ever see this on and it's in, you're not wrapping it and ready to move it along, don't put this on, okay? So, this is supposed to be off. So as soon as we go upstairs and we're ready to open this up, we open it up, we do a check. So I'm gonna ask the doctor or the nurse, the sub tech, can you do me a favor, can you just do a check for me, just make sure that everything is good. So I'll do this, the sub tech will do this, and make sure that it's hitting the stem. So what happens is, the way that I can tell that it's bad is if this was kind of cockeyed. If it was a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, the doctor can't see the angle that he needs to see. So you got to be like, hey, Paul Fernando, it's a little bit off. I can't fix it, but I can exchange it for something if it's really bad. Also, you see how I'm pressing this all the way down? And guys, this is really important because you guys are going to test at the end. So as soon as I press this down, it goes all the way to the stem, right? If it does not do this, if it gets stuck like this, it's broken. That means it's broken. Even though it passes the test or not, it's broken. So you just let me know, okay? This is a dual channel flexible scope. The other ones are single channel, meaning it does not have this, but it has this. This is the working channel. This is the laser channel. So because this has another part to it, we have more parts that are connected to this. So I'm going to go through that. So what we have here is the part, and I think that there's a little orange, oh, here it is, right here, look at that. So this right here, guys, I want to show you guys is disposable. That right there, that orange piece. The orange piece and this system right here with this extra laser channel, the reason why they call it a laser channel is because it's specifically only for laser channel. And remember, guys, when I say laser channel, for us as SPD guys, we got to make sure that we're thinking blue, not putting in yellow, right? Because the yellow is going to be for the laser part. I mean, the blue is going to be for the laser part, and the yellow is going to be for the working channel.
Okay.
Any questions, guys?
Blue light laser.
Why? Why is that like that? This one is thinner than this one. Mm-hmm. So this one, what happens is, it has to go through this thin part. So this is the first part of the laser channel. This is called the silver bullet. And what this has, it's not the correct name, but it's what I call it. But this basically has like a little notch in there. So what happens is, this is when we're putting it together. It has nothing to do with cleaning. I'm just kind of giving you some knowledge on it. So what happens is, you'll never have to put this together or take it apart because I do this for you. So basically, I'll take it all apart, make it look nice. All you gotta do is just dunk it and clean it. So you slip it in there like this. The next thing that you do is that there's this little orange, this is the choker. So what it does, it chokes the fiber to hold it, to bring it back and forth a millimeter or two. So basically, you have to put that in the middle like this. Then you put the barrel over it like this, with the circles to the scope. Then the witch's hat, we call it the witch's hat, and we put it like this. Once he puts the fiber in, he locks this down, and look how it moves it up and down. Mm-hmm. So that little orange thing will choke the fiber here to be able to manipulate it back and forth when the doctor wants to do that. So that's what the laser channel is. This right here is nothing but an irrigation channel. We used to have a little black thing. It no longer is there. It's not needed. The doctors don't use it. So just know, you don't have to run a brush through this piece right here. It's just this piece. So remember, the blue here, the yellow here. This can be submerged, okay? So, one thing I advise you guys is when you guys are picking these things up, which you guys should only pick it up when you're above the sink and you're wiping it off, is always make sure that you're holding this. because this right here is the most expensive part from here to here. So always try to make sure you can hold it like this. This is another way you can hold it. This could be submerged. It's okay to submerge it. The only time that it's not submerged is when I come here and I say, hey guys, can I do a test in front of you? Sure, no problem. I'll do the test in front of you. We're gonna go over that. If the needle moves, that means we won't submerge it. You'll just clean it as best you can without submerging it. Then we'll put it off to the side and I'll order you another one. But let's say it does not have a hole. You clean it just the way that I'm gonna show you right now.
Just one second. When you're talking about whether the needle moves, he's actually doing a leak test.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is the needle right here.
That is the leak tester.
So the
all right?
leak tester works, and I have videos. I gave the videos
I've got
too.
'em.
There's beautiful videos step by step. But real quick, what it is that this, we connect this, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But you put the pressure up, and I usually do it between 140 and 180. So I go to 160. And then what happens is there's 3 different ways to test it. Once you put the pressure to 160, you want to test it straight for 10 seconds, left for 10 seconds, right for 10 seconds. And then the reason why we're doing that is because if there's a hole on this side, it won't be exposed unless you bend it all the way. And that's what sometimes I tell my reps. If you guys are going fast up there and you're doing this and you're not taking your time with this,
You'll miss it.
you're going to give somebody a faulty scope. So I always take my time when you're doing this. Don't ever rush, because I don't like being rushed. I don't think anybody likes being rushed, right? So the only time that I'm gonna ever try to figure out if anything to get it turned over, I'll say, hey guys, we're on our first case. I'm gonna need this turned over as soon as you can. So that would be like no problem. So I don't know how they're gonna try to do it, but this usually takes 3 hours to get back into the system. If they do it right away, it takes 3 hours. So we're hoping, because we only have 3 of these, that you guys will be able to turn over the first one for the 4th case. Does that make sense? You think that's possible?
Yes.
And if you guys ever have any questions, I'm here for you per case. So every case that we do, I'm going to be here for it. Not for the cleaning part, but for the other parts, I will be here for it. So any questions, you just let me know. So basically, we'll do our test, and let's do that test before I clean. Yeah. So what we'll do is basically this, guys. This is our pressure tester, and you're going to have one here, and I don't know where we put them, but you're going to have one in decon, and you're going to have one in the clean side. I'm going to test it here in front of you when I give it to you. You're going to clean it, then dry it. Once it gets on that side and you're about to wrap it, before you wrap it, you're going to do a test. That's
Okay.
when you guys are going to do it.
Another caveat to that is make sure you're using the Wolf leak tester, not
And that's
the
what it
Carl
looks like in the
Storz.
back. It has like
Okay.
the real one with the little metal.
Yes.
It does.
Yes,
So
it
you're
does.
gonna
That's
have
why I'm
one
saying.
back here and then one over there. So we never want to use, either or on each side, because one's dirty, one's clean. But so the most important thing that I can leave this with you guys is always make sure when you are connecting or disconnecting this, you always want to make sure this is open. The way that you can tell that this is open is that the knob is away from the stem. If it's close to the stem, that means it's closed. You never want to connect it like this, because if you connect it, blah, 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 that thing will just pop. So you just always want to make sure, hold on, let me check real quick. So I want to make sure that that's open. Boom, it's open. Next thing you know, I connect it. This is one way to please try not to do what I was just about to do. Do it like this. Grab it with your hand, so you can have counter pressure, so you're not beating up the scope, and you can just push it in like that. That's easy
Simple.
to do that, right? So now that it's open and I connected it, that's the most important thing. Then I'm going to shut it. And you see how it's kind of getting, the stem's getting closer to the stem, guys? So then now, I'm going to go between 140 and 180, which my magic number is 160. I like 160. It doesn't have to be exactly there. But now, you're going to say, hey, do me a favor, can you let me know if that needle moves? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did the needle move? Nope. So that means I can progress to the next side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to go to the next side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So once I do all that, if it has not moved, then I'm saying, okay, this is a great scope. I'm going to let the pressure go, let it hit the 0, count 5 to 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then disconnect it. Do you guys have any questions on that? Okay, I'm going to show you. You guys are going to be able to do that after I'm done cleaning this, okay? So now, when we tested it, and you guys are, I'm testing it right in front of you guys, and you guys say, okay, thanks, Fernando. So you guys come to clean it. This whole thing is going to look like this. It's all going to be taken apart. Okay, all pieces is going to be taken apart. This orange piece will not be in there because this is disposable. So if it's in there, it could just be thrown away. It's not a part that we're going to keep in there. You're just going to have 3 parts: this, and the witch's hat. Okay, so it'll be like that. This right here will be in its case. I'm going to cut a little slit through here like this so that can actually fit here like this, because right now it's like a hole where you have to kind of do this. And I don't like that because that can break very easy. See how that can break really easy? So you want to be. So basically it's going to come just like this, gas cap off. So once you got it, you come here, submit the whole thing, get my sponge or my rag, and now what I do is I'll go in there with the soapy water because it's not soapy. So I'm just going to make sure and wipe everything off real nice and clean. So the thing is the only thing that you're probably going to see on here is a little bit of KY jelly, but like I told the first crew, what we'll do is we'll try to do as much as we can of pre-cleanse, wipe it off with whatever we can. If there's any bio burden or anything like that, we don't want to give you guys anything dirty. So the first thing I do is clean the lid. Then after I clean the lid, I come here and I rinse it. Take this out. Now guys, this is a good time that if you guys wanted to use the pressure dryer, you can use the pressure dryer here to dry it. The only thing I don't recommend is putting that pressure inside of the flexible scope. So never put any type of any type of blower inside of the scope, because this can only take a PSI of 22. If we cannot measure a 22 PSI, that means we're not going to take a chance of blowing the scope, right? So what can we do, Fernando? We can do a 20 cc syringe with air. Usually alcohol is used, but we don't use alcohol in this facility, so air is going to be our best friend. How are we going to push it? With a 20 cc syringe. Okay? And it's flush, brush, flush, right? So I basically dumped it all in there. I cleaned my lid. So the reason why I cleaned my lid first, guys, is because I wanted to try to see, because guys, this takes the longest to dry, because you see this? It holds so much water. So the first thing I do is I'll clean the lid. I'll try to put it in a nice little dry area. Pretend I just dried that off, right? I had time to dry it off. So basically, I'll start moving on my stove. Now, this is why it's so important to have, let's see if I can have like a little towel or something to put on there. I usually like to use a plastic tray, but yeah, if I can have one little towel. A plastic tray, and this
That's
is
a
the
linting
reason why,
towel.
guys,
We want
because
the other
this is a
kind.
momentary tray that I'm
Sorry.
going to put the dirty scope in so I can clean.
We don't have
the
any back
tray.
here.
I want to clean the
Yeah.
tray first so that
Lint-free.
I have something to put the scope on. Does that make sense? Yeah. Some people, what happens is they'll clean the scope different and they'll put the scope on. Never do that, please. I beg you.
Just leave it in the tray.
If you put it inside, you know what happens? We make almost 40% on top of our scope usage. So that's like a huge thing if you just watch out and always keep it in a container. So here's my dirty instrument. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up. And remember, how do I pick it up? I pick it up with 2 hands. I put it, it'll be like in the middle of the sink, but there's stuff in there, so, and this is like dangerous, it's okay. It's just a dirty scope. So, basically what I'll start doing is I'll start getting my little pieces out, and because of my pieces that are in here, I'm gonna go and just basically clean them with my brush, make sure I'll just go in there and clean it. This little piece right here, you just run a little brush through it, make sure that that's in there. So now this is clean, I'm gonna rinse it out. Make sure you can rinse it out as much as you can, put your little pieces there. Then you come over here and you start wiping off your tray. Boom. This is all soapy water. You're going to make sure all of it. Also, there's a nipple in here. Okay, so nipple, clean with the nipple. Make sure there's no stones in there. I like to squeeze it a little bit. Rinse it off. Okay. Then come over here. Finish cleaning it all off. Make sure it's all wiped down. So then I come over here. Rinse it off. Usually I have a rag here or I can just kind of wipe it all off. Make sure it's nice and dry. Get the air thing, start doing the air. Now you have a base to put it on. Usually I would put one of the blue towels. I don't know if you guys have all the
We
hospitals,
don't
but
have blue towels.
So
this is what we
fine.
have.
Yeah, this is
This is
fine.
lint free. Blue towels are not
That's
lint free.
even better. So now that I have everything there, now I concentrate on my scope. So because I have the scope, I can submerge it. You see how I'm submerging it? So what I usually do is I'll go and wipe it off first. Now the most important thing is the tail, right? So what I usually do with the tail, and I'll show you this, is I'll do it like this. I don't ever want you guys to do this. Grab it, that's right. I don't want you to pull like this, because what happens is there
Pull the
will be a
sheath off.
wrinkle right here, and that wrinkle will start wrinkling over the head, and people will want to pull that back. Don't pull it back. If there's a wrinkle, let me know, and I'll come and fix it. Okay, but that's what will happen. So what I want you to do is this. Like this. Okay, and I put this in here like this. See a little bit here, grab the little tip, like that, a little bit like that. Okay, so now that everything is wiped down, I'm gonna do this stem, wipe this down. You never want to bend the tip, so just make sure that you never do this. Look, guys, see how I'm going to do this? Don't press this against the wall. That's what happens a lot. It'll press like this and it'll crack this. So you just always want to make sure you give it a nice leeway. So after everything is wiped down, all the cord is wiped down, gas trap is wiped down, rinsed off. Okay, so after everything's wiped down, what do? I flush, brush, then flush again. So I'll take 20 cc syringe with soapy water. I'll grab my scope, handle my scope as nice and as delicate as possible. I end up putting it in my channel. This will come out squeezing like this, so what I usually do is I'll hold it like this, and I'll just squeeze. And you put your 20 cc's through it. Then, next thing you know, if I'm working on this one, what color am I going to use, guys?
Yellow.
Good job. What am I going to use for this one?
Blue.
That's right. So the next one I'm going to rinse out will be this one.
Now does the laser flush come out the tip as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's a nice little, it's called like a wishbone. You put the wishbone here, and you just go, and it goes to two channels at the same time. I'll try to get you guys that, but once I flush it, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put the brush through it, because I'm doing the working channel, and I'm going to be putting it in through the butt end first. I'm going to start right here in this channel. I'm going to make sure that my scope is as straight as possible. So what I like to do is, you see this right here, move this out of the way. See how I have this here? How I can lay it down like that? My hands are free, and I can manipulate the tip where it's not bent. So you want to make sure you push it in through the butt end, and you want to make sure that the tip is not bent. See? It tries to bend on you guys, so just make sure that you try to do the best you can to make sure that it's straight as possible. You just don't want to create a curve. Once you see the tip at the end,
I was going to say, get that other way.
once you see the tip at the end,
There it is.
that's when I'll turn it over. I'll put it in like this.
And you're going to pull it
over.
back through.
Yep. And then, because I'll submerge that, that's pulling the soap through like that. I do the same thing with the laser channel.
Okay. One or two times.
So once I do the brush, what do I do next? My last flush, right? So yes, you do this 2 times on this because you have one laser one and one working one, correct? So
And
now
each
that
one
you're-
is 2 times?
No,
Just once?
just once
Okay.
each one. Yep.
Okay.
Brush, flush, brush. So I just did that. I'm going to repeat the same thing to the blue one. Do you guys want me to repeat it? I figured.
Okay.
But just remember, you're going to do exactly what I did with the blue one here and the yellow one here. Any questions on that? Okay, so we're going to move on. So now that I just did my brush and my flush, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to rinse it all out. come over here, rinse it out. This is when I have another 20cc syringe.
And you use brand new ones each time you clean
That's
each
right.
scope.
Yes, these are all disposable, and also, as you saw, I have a dirty one and I have a clean one. So
Right.
clean rag. What was that?
That's your
Clean
shoes sticking
rag
out.
and a clean syringe. All right?
Clean sink, clean
That's
syringes,
right.
clean
So I'm
brushes.
gonna get some saline, listen to me, some
Water.
water. And I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did, both channels, guys, because remember, you wanna make sure that there's no soap in these channels.
And you don't do a wet leak test, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, no wet leak. This is the only one that we'll do is the dry one that we'll do in front of you.
Okay.
And then the one that you guys do dry in the clean side.
Okay.
So now that I'm flushing these channels, okay, I'm supposed to have another rag just to give it a nice little wipe, doing a nice little wipe, and then boom, it's done, right? So here is where you can put it right on top of here, or you can have another towel here, put it here, dry it off as much as you can, then put it here. It's up to you. So I know it's an extra step, but at least you won't get this completely wet. So I know that this is wet, but I'm gonna just put it just to, boom. And this is usually how they would go and put it the next person, or they put it to dry, or however.
It'll go to the window, not through the cabinet.
Not with this on, of course, but you know, that's what
Yes.
they would do, is put it next.
And you dry it over here with just flushed
Yep.
air,
Just
not
air on the surface.
from a syringe.
No air in the channel.
No
correct.
air in the
And-
channel,
and
just
this
from a
should be
syringe.
The last thing, guys, the camera, and then we're gonna do the test and then get it done. Okay, so the camera comes in with the light cord. This is basically the same basic system. You go and put it in, you clean it with one rag. There's gonna be a part that's gonna go to the monitor. It's gonna go, this is for the light cord, so you have one like this. You guys will never have to assemble this or take this apart.
Yay.
Yeah. You guys will literally just take it out, wash it, and make sure these two parts, these two pieces are in here. They could not be on here. So some hospitals actually, put this on there and they sterilize it. It happens, but I wouldn't recommend it because then this stays on there. It's like solder. So just make sure you got this, like this. And this piece right here, see this little black piece? This little black piece spins infinitely. So you would have to concentrate on the metal. It would just be metal. So if it's together like this, if it's all together and the rep gives it to you like this, you tell them, hey, Fernando said these things gotta be pulled apart. And there can't be any blood or anything on them. So just know that that's how it's gonna be. This can also be submerged. This is also hand washed, and this is going to be sterilized. If you need to figure out what to do or how to sterilize it, the sticker's right in there. So any questions, guys?
Now,
Okay.
You made the point about the syringes. Are you talking about like per case in the syringe or per scope, like
Per scope,
Okay.
Per scope, per patient. Per patient.
right, because you will
So
cross-contaminate
Well, yeah,
patients.
no. So I'm saying, so if we have two scopes from the same case, I can use the same syringe.
You're correct.
Okay. That's
Correct.
what
Because
I'm
it's the
trying.
same patient.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what I'm
Okay.
making sure. 'Cause
Yeah, no, you'll be, yeah.
That'd be a lot of
like that,
syringes,
but
Kyle.
that's a good question, yeah. So just eat just a set of materials per patient.
Got you.
Per case. Give me some questions, guys. Any question, even if it's like a small little question.
Good
Anything
demonstration,
else?
man.
You
Yeah.
guys got it?
Yeah.
Any cycle questions, any sterilizing questions? Just remember, no heat. Don't use any air because you don't want to pop the tip. Always make sure that you're going to connect this by having this open. So if you guys can put gloves on, you guys are going to show me to do a leak test for me real quick. So you guys, this is going to
It's on the
live
clean
back
side.
there.
It's on the
So
clean side.
basically, this is your guys right here, this paper.
Oh,
And
this is
it's
for whoever's
basic-
watching it. So like,
Right,
okay.
whoever's putting it together, whoever's going to sterilize
Assembly
it,
side.
whoever's going to wrap it.
Okay.
So whoever wraps it has to come here and do this test first and then put it down here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is proof that you guys tested it and you guys are not putting broken scopes through the sterilizer.
Gotcha.
That's basically what this is saying. So
All right.
what's the first thing and most important thing you have to do here?
Open.
That's right, and opening good. Gotcha. What's next? Good job, you hold it. And remember, you want to make sure, make sure that there's no bends. You never want to create any type of pressure or bend inside that scope. Good. So you're gonna go and lock it, and give it a nice nudge. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. So I go up to 160. Now you tell me what to do next.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And you can put this down and just watch it. And there you go. And now you're gonna have to good. So you can watch it too. Okay, you did it 10 seconds straight, all the way. All the way up and all the way down. Count 10 seconds. Did it move? Nope. So you can go to the next one. Good job, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. Okay. 10 seconds. Now. And now you're done. That means it's a good scope. So you're gonna put it down. And before you disconnect it, what's the most important thing you have to do?
Deflate it.
Let it go down to 0, and once it gets down to 0, that's when you start counting 5 to 10 seconds. They're like naturals over here.
Yep.
Perfect, guys. Okay, next.